This corner of the house is sinking. Right now, the whole weight of the house is held up. In this corner, the whole weight of the house is held up on this brick resting on this 5-gallon bucket full of concrete. This beam is supporting the whole weight of the house on this corner, and it is rotting out from the bottom. The top seems okay. This beam extends to here. As you can see, it's coming apart. Carpet internet damage, probably. This beam seems to be okay. This beam's good, this is rotted, and this goes all the way to the end of the house. Maybe 6 inches short. Right here, this beam that goes to the front of the house is also rotted. These beams intersect right here. So this entire beam needs to be replaced. This beam runs back at least to here. I don't remember if there's a seam. It goes to at least there, and it's good, it's solid, it's fine, up until about here, where it's rotted to the end of the house. So underneath, we have so that is supporting the whole weight of the corner of this house. We have these beams running side to side of the house. This is the underside of the beam, the front to back beam, where it's starting to get rotted in here. Right here it seems okay. There seems to be weight on this. Oh, maybe not. Alright, there might be weight on that. There's definitely weight on this. There's definitely weight on this blue bucket. I don't think this beam is currently touching the ground at all. I see daylight through there. So what's the harm in just cutting this out now? It's not supporting anything. It's not touching the ground. There's no weight on it. The weight starts here. And this is okay. This seems okay. I wouldn't cut out till here, so here to the end. Maybe that's the answer. Do this one first. These flies are crazy. So a recap. We've got 2 beams that are rotted out on this corner of the house. We've got one going front to back that is rotted from this corner to about here. Maybe here. This much of this beam. Here's a closer look at the end of it. This is where it meets the other beam. This is the head or the cap of the front to back beam. And you can see this used to be resting on this rock, I believe. So this much has eroded away. This beam, this front to back beam, goes until at least here. I can't remember if it continues the whole way or if there was a seam there, but it seems to be pretty solid, even right here. Here's a look at the underside of it. Seems to be okay. Where's that hammer? Solid. This side. Not so much. This beam is not currently touching the ground. There's daylight. I need some light. There's daylight between this beam and the ground. There's no weight on the rotten part of this beam. There's weight here on this solid portion. This can remain in place. I think this all gets dug out. Concrete poured. Sonotube down there. Concrete poured up. Beam gets cut out, replaced. Supported in two places. Maybe we'll put another one of these here. Then jack up this side of the house. Then we get a second beam. This side to side beam, which goes from here all the way to that seam again. And this beam is garbage. It's completely rotted out from ants or moisture. It is holding weight though. This whole corner of the house is being supported by this on this crummy beam. So I got this dug out a little bit more, and what I'm noticing is this piece under the kitchen door is rotted out actually from here and down and over. This is the cap, the end of the beam that goes to the front of the house, that way. And if you look, there's nails coming down. This is also the end, and it's sawn off here. So this rides and sits on top of this beam. So this beam used to extend to here, and it has rotted out that much. Man, these flies are something else. They weren't biting all day, now they're biting. So this is how these beams used to sit. This is the front to back beam, which is this one. This is the side to side beam, which is that one. The front to back beam used to rest on top of the side to side beam. That overlap section is completely gone. These nails used to be those nails. And this cut section right there, that cut face, used to be that cut face right there. So this beam, which is completely rotted, It's about 45 inches long. And right there. The front to back beam is mostly good. It's good until about there, which is about 24 inches back. There it is, 24 inches back from this former joint. These are 6x6 beams, both of them, pretty much. This one's a strange shape. This one used to come under this beam, but then this also has this section cut out, which I don't understand. My only guess is this was a repurposed beam from something else. Like most of these I think are for old barns. I don't think that this cut had any purpose in this house, but I don't know. If I had to put a guess, I would say that this corner of the house has been a problem for a long time, and that this beam was replaced. These, I believe, are old growth lumber, or they're just really, really old lumber. So they've come out of an old barn. I think that for the most part they're good, except maybe it got to here and rotted out. So this piece was replaced with something else, and it has not stood up, and now it's crumbling, and that's where we are today. The front to back beam, that would have been on the top, so that may have not been a problem until now. That was my guess as to what happened. So how do we fix this? Yeah, this beam's got to come out. It's got to get cut. It's got to get cut there, pulled out. It's not holding any weight right now. That shouldn't be an issue. We just cut this section out. Access to the beam. Pull the beam out. Replace with a 6x6. With replicating that joint. Put some concrete support underneath it. Jack it up. Put concrete there in anticipation of the final. Maybe we do 2. Maybe we do 3 total. Or 4. I don't know. That I gotta figure out. I don't really have the tools right now to cut this part open to see better. But I think I know what I'm going to see, which is just the beam is okay. It's at least okay on the bottom. If it's okay on the bottom, I'm assuming it's okay on the top. I rerouted the electrical in. This is where the electrical comes in the house. So it now goes up temporarily. This metal wire comes down this junction box and meets the old intake to the house. This was buried to this point. And this is the buried wire that goes back into the ground there. It goes up there. That was going to be in the way. Now that will be a temporary fix for however many months this takes. So I got to get about 6 to 8 feet of 6x6 beam. To give you an idea of how bad that corner is, here's this corner. That's how far out that's off. So the house is tipping that way, tipping this way. And then here, the house is also tipping backwards. The whole house is tipping towards this corner. several inches. And then on this side, also several inches. You can even see it. You can even see it. Look how the bottom overlaps the top. Bottom overlaps the top. Well, that might just be the way it's cut, but you can kind of see it. Here's the front of the house. The house is leaning this way, like this. That's how far back the house is leaning. That's from the front wall. And last measurement. Well, that's almost perfect. Shouldn't this almost be perfect? I don't know. Maybe this is somehow anchored by the chimney, but only in one direction. That's kind of strange. The house is tipping down on the right side of the screen. Maybe kind of tough with the fisheye lens to tell, but not a lot of straight lines on this house to begin with. It's tipping back. You can't see it with the naked eye. This is the problem corner.